I've got a lot of great questions today, but the main one is on hats in the 18th century. Thanks for joining us today on Questions and Answers with James Townsend and Son. Our first question today is from Psycho Sama, and it's on the rendering Suet video. It says, I'm not even sure where to even ask for the right kind of fat these days. Where would you suggest? Suet, you really should go to your butcher. If you have a local big box kind of grocery store and they've got a really good butcher section, you could ask them about suet. But more than likely, I would look for a local butcher, somebody who actually deals with animals locally that butchers them, and try to talk to the butcher himself and ask for suet. If he doesn't understand or he tries to give you muscle fat, ask for kidney fat. That's the other term they're going to use for true suet. Many times you're going to be given muscle fat instead of suet. They'll give you basically a bag of fat trimmings. You don't want that. That's not going to work at all. So make sure to ask for kidney fat or ask for suet and try to find the butcher himself to talk to him. If you have trouble finding suet or you don't want to go to the trouble of rendering it yourself, we do have this suet, this wonderful USDA approved pre-rendered suet available on our website or in our print catalog. We've got a lot of great questions on the cheese soup episode. This one's from Frugal Nanny. She says, this looks awesome. I have a question. Might this cheese have been made at home or would they have bought it? Well, that's a really good question. They could have used it in either situation. Cheese is one of those great products. It's what you do with an excess of milk. Milk does not transport very well, but cheese is a great way of condensing milk down into a form that you can transport and lasts for a long period of time. So you do have cheeses coming in, like export cheeses, or you can find them in markets, or people can make them at home. It's such a really great product for that. So it could be either one. You can make this with a homemade cheese or with something you buy at the store or the market. Another one from the cheese soup. This is Wrath of the Monarch, and he says, would it be possible to substitute beer for the water? And if so, would that still be historically accurate? Yes, you do find beers and ales being used for bases of soups just like this. So a beer or an ale would be a great addition, an interesting addition, and a historically accurate substitution in this case. And this is another question that came in on the cheese soup. It's not necessarily about cheese soup, though. This is from Scyther1. It says, I noticed you wear that hat, the one I was wearing in that episode, regularly. Did people wear them in the 18th century to stay warm? Or was it a pseudo hairnet or to hide their hair from being dirty? So here's the hat. You can see the kind of hat that I wear in the cooking episodes. This is a hat that we carry on our website or in our print catalog, and it's a workman's cap. It's the kind of hat that you would wear if you weren't going around town, but if you were just at home or in your workshop and you needed something on your head. And people wore hats all the time in the 18th century. Bareheaded people you see very, very... You don't ever see them almost at all in historical artworks, or you hear about that. People always had a head covering. So in a workman's situation where you're doing vigorous work and a hat like this one might come off your head very easily, they would switch to a workman's style cap. Now, the exact reasons about why they wore hats all the time, I think part of it was just kind of what people were expected to wear. In the 18th century, clothing was a lot different. They would never have worn something just like a t-shirt. People always had a shirt and almost always a waistcoat and a jacket on top of that, and a hat was similar. You just always wore a hat. It was part of what somebody who was dressed would wear. And they would have undress hats they would wear about the house or while they're working, and then they would have dress hats, something that was much fancier. And all these things told people what you were, what social economic level you were, what kind of work you did, by the kind of clothes you wore and the kind of hat you had. Look for an upcoming hat episode. There are some on the website, but they're rather old, so I really want to step back in and talk about hats. So look for that in the next couple of weeks. Also, I really want to thank all the great folks that responded to the Sifting the Past call for help. I've got a great group of people there, and we're starting to get people on board with helping with the Sifting the Past. So I really want to thank everyone out there who responded to that and was in the group. Thank you so much. And I've got a question for everyone out there. Even if you haven't done or you aren't really interested in doing living history, if you were going to do living history or reenacting, what kind of persona would you most be interested in doing? That's a question for you. Please give me an answer down in the comment section of this video. I want to thank everyone out there for your wonderful comments and questions, your suggestions. They're all so helpful, so very encouraging to see all those comments come in. It really helps us keep doing what we want to do with these videos and giving us an idea about what needs to happen next. I want to thank everyone out there for all your great input in that way, and thanks for watching. If you're a new viewer and you haven't subscribed, press the subscribe button up here. That'll take you to a spot where you can subscribe. That really is the best way to get notification of all the new videos that are out. I want to thank everyone for watching.